It is Friday Night Live, and we have got a very special edition of Friday Night Live tonight because not only are we going to do our normal thing, but we've got some special people with us for one thing, and we're giving away this painting to a very special person. So I'm going to just first of all say I've got my partner in crime with me, Mr. Peter.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live. What's up?
All right. And
good to see you all.
Not only is Peter with us, but we have got somebody who's very special to me. And I don't know if they've ever been on Friday Night Live before, maybe a brief time, but coming in tonight is my beautiful wife, Renee.
Hey, Renee.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Renee.
We got everybody here today. Yeah. So, guys, welcome to Friday Night Live. We're going to be doing something a little different tonight than what you're all probably used to. Jed, do you want to tell us what's going on tonight?
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be giving away painting. Like a lot of times we give away paintings, but we do it during the show. We kind of have you write in and text in. And tonight what I did was something earlier this week where we knew it was coming up to Valentine's Day, and we just thought, hey, this would be a fun time to do a special giveaway. So I put it out there saying, hey, if you have a loved one, somebody that you really care about, that you want me to paint a painting for, send me the information. And we had a little form that people could fill out on our site. And lo and behold, we had a lot of people fill it out. And I got to say this, guys, you did not make it easy for us to choose. I went in there thinking, oh, I'm going to get some, just, I don't know what I was expecting. All I know is that when I went in and I started actually reading through, my heart was really moved and I was really touched. So anyways, it's a really cool thing. We're going to be sharing some of the special people and some of the special stories that people, kind of told us just about the people that they love, that they want to have a painting painted for. And we're just going to share some of those because even though we might not be able to paint this painting and give it to them, we thought that their stories were very worthwhile to tell and just to share and to say, you're awesome. And we're so glad that you told us these stories because it really enriched us. And we think it'll enrich your time too. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Peter, so basically, is there anything else that so one, I'm going to give you a couple small announcements right now.
Yeah,
one
for sure.
That we've got the miniature challenge. If you're not part of the miniature challenge already, which I know some of you are, but we've got another round of it starting here in just a couple days. So if you want to be part of a really fun, active group of people that are going through 52 weeks of paintings, if you don't know, that is a full year. So every week I'm putting out a new lesson on a little miniature painting. They're very bite-sized. They're like 32 minutes long, these lessons. They're really short. And they're doable paintings, right? 6 inches by 6 inches. Some people are adjusting that slightly, but they're very doable. And that's starting, the next round is starting on Sunday. So you've still got a little time, but jump into that. And you can just go to our site and you'll find on acrylicuniversity.com links to the miniature challenge. A really good time. And we'd love to have you in there. Anything else? Just making sure I don't forget things. I'm going to change my view here. Oh, go ahead, Renee.
There's a live class tomorrow.
A
lot of the members are coming, and then we've had a few other people sign up too.
Yes, indeed, there is a live class tomorrow. So if you want to actually like on a normal Friday night. So just so you know, I don't teach a ton here. If you have questions, make sure you ask because we do take time, and I'll try to answer your questions. Tonight's going to be a little different still because we're going to be sharing some different stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you really want to get in and like have in-depth teaching and the thought process that I'm going through in the moment, that's what these live classes are all about because I basically spend 2.5 hours going through a painting and walking through step by step, very detailed, and you get to, be there for that whole process, and it's a good time. So without further ado, I'm going to just talk a little bit about this scene. Well, actually, I'm not going to talk about it quite yet, but I think I'm going to just talk about my what I have here. So I have my main colors are white, black. If you haven't been here before, then I use cadmium yellow light. This is actually cadmium red, and this is ultramarine blue. You can see right here I've got two alternate colors, but I'm not really going to use them. In fact, I'm just going to scrape them off right now just so that they're not confusing to anybody who might be wanting to paint along, because they're not part of my limited palette right now. Although if I need to, I'll bring them out later. This is a small amount of orange. You can tell that I use most of it. This is actually supposed to be a violet. This is the green, and all those are mixtures out of the primary colors. I've got flat brushes that I use, and they're from Princeton. And basically, that's as simple and as complex as I go. So welcome, everybody. We're super glad that you're here. Yeah, man. Oh, super fun. Leslie, I see somebody say hi from Scottsdale. Well, you might, in fact, recognize this scene here.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah.
Hey, Peter or Jed, can you move the image from the left corner over a little bit to the right?
Oh, so that's not in the... Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, it's kind of covered up right now.
Like this?
Yeah, even a little bit more you could. I don't know what other people's screens look like. Yeah, like that. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Cool.
And I want to say hi to Adrian. I saw she said, girls from Edmonton are the best. So I'm guessing Adrian's from Edmonton too. So hi, Adrian.
Yeah, we went snowshoeing. Jed, Renee, and I went snowshoeing recently, and Renee was telling us all these stories about when she was a kid and she would play in the snow and stuff. And they were hardcore.
I know.
Hardcore.
I told our daughter last night I was bundling her up for a walk, and I was putting a scarf on her face, and I told her I'm like a professional, I don't know, rapper.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Doug, I want to let you know that recently, my girlfriend and I went out for a walk, and I found exactly what I'm going to paint. So I'm making progress towards your challenge of seeing me paint, and I found the scene I'm going to paint. So it's a really cool scene. It's from a bridge. It's from underneath a bridge at one of the parks near here, and it's really pretty.
Cool.
Yeah. It's like right on the river.
Did you take pictures?
Not good ones. So I'm gonna go back and get some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. Exciting. Yep. Peter's gonna get out the canvas soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mean to be skeptical, Peter, but until I see that canvas going, I just have to say it's all talk to this point. So we're still waiting.
It will happen, I promise.
I don't want to be the guy that's doubting you. I don't doubt you, but I just have to say it's, I'm just waiting. I'm glad to see, though, one thing I was thinking about this week, I can't remember where I read this or what it was, but just the idea of like the first step is actually a lot of times the hardest step. So I commend you, actually, now that I think about it, for getting that first step done.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Jed, is there a reason why you chose to start with orange on your canvas?
Well, it's actually red,
red.
but mostly just because I like to have some warm colors underneath, and this scene is pretty warm. This is the sun coming up, and one thing I love about sunrises is that it is a very hopeful thing, right? Like, the night does not last forever. The sun comes up in the morning, and it brings with it a new day. and this was a sunrise, and it's a very beautiful kind of warm sunrise also with that just the beautiful sun filtering through that little, I don't know if you'd call it a tree or not, but I guess it's probably a tree. It's just like a small tree compared to a big evergreen around here, but So Renee, I wanted to have you on here today because I wanted to say to you from the bottom of my heart that I love you. I am very thankful for you. You are a joy and a blessing in my life, and nobody here knows how amazing you are as much as I do, because I get to live with you and I get to see you be a mom, and I get to see you every day. So I just wanted to say I love you. You are the beauty that I am thankful I get to wake up to every day, the sunshine of my days. And I just wanted to say, as this is our Valentine's Day special, thank you for being my Valentine. Thank you for putting up with me all these years.
Aw, that's sweet, honey. Thank you. That's so nice. You made me get tears in my eyes.
I know, I saw that.
Well, I don't feel deserving of that comment, really, because I felt a little grumpy today, on and off. So, brother, thank you. That's so sweet, honey.
Well, I wasn't totally talking about today.
Oh, good.
I'm just joking. This is what's funny about Renee, is that sometimes she feels grumpy inside, but for most people around her, they can't even tell. And I think that's kind of the way it is for me. Like, a lot of times she'll be like, I'm sorry. For what? Well, I was not being nice today. Oh, really? Like, oh, yeah, so anyways, thanks for being nice when you're not nice.
Oh. Well, I'm glad I can hide it, I guess.
I guess, I don't know. Maybe that's not so good, but anyways.
Joan Bennett says we all have our grumpy days, and that is so true.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter, do you want to, Renee, I know that you have to go pick up our daughter, so, you can stay as long as you can, whatever, but I know whenever you want to go, just let us know that you're going to go and we'll say bye. But
okay, Peter, sounds good. I still have like 15 minutes, but
okay, yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
Well, if anybody out there has a question for Renee, since, she's kind of the star of the show tonight, feel free to ask questions. Yeah. But Peter, we have a lot of stories. We have a lot of things that we could share, right? We've got these different submissions, and we just pulled out a few. There's too many to share everything, but we pulled out some that we thought were, especially, poignant.
Yeah,
hey, that's
absolutely.
A good word.
That is a good word.
Man, I'm impressing myself. I don't even know what it means, but I heard it used one time in a sentence, and I thought I'd say it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sentimental.
Oh, I'm just joking. I actually do know what it means.
Oh, you do? Okay, I thought you did.
Renee is never one to give me the benefit of the doubt.
I never think you use that word, though.
No, I don't think I. Oh, there's the first question, Renee. Oh, you got a few. Oh, boy,
we have a few questions. Well, a couple people have asked how long you guys have been married, so you should answer that first.
Yeah, it was 21 years in September.
Dang.
So 99. You got married in September 99, Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know how it happened, but she said yes.
Okay, see, somebody asked, what's it like being the wife of an artist? Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually wrote an article about it. Do you remember, Jed?
Yeah.
I
That's a
wrote
really good
something
question.
about it. We had a blog a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
And it was like the most popular blog article we ever wrote. Or I shouldn't say I wrote most of them. And then she writes one about what it's like to be married to an artist, and it felt like it was the most popular for sure.
That's awesome.
What I remember writing was like, well, I mean, Jed's an artist, but I think more than that, he's an entrepreneur. And so that stands out to me even more than the art part. I mean, art, like he's very sweet, like he's very sensitive and like emotional, and like, you know, he shares his heart. So that's really sweet and awesome. I think the entrepreneur part is like
Not as awesome.
Maybe a little challenging, because like every day he has about 100 new ideas. And
yeah,
so you know that, Peter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, me and Jed drive her crazy.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just have to say, Jed, like, I just want to talk about today. Like, I don't want to talk about, you know, anything big. I just want to know, like.
Yeah.
Here, can I just give a little example? So like,
yeah, go for it.
Renee's always asked me, she'll just like ask me a question. So like, what are we going to do with this? And it's one particular question about one specific thing. And I know what she's asking, but it's been something that I've been thinking about. And so I'll go into a long thing about like, okay, here's the whole situation. Right. And it's like, she'll often be like, okay, but you know, after I go on for a while, she'll be like, okay, but you never answered the question about today that, you know, I need to have answered. And yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should listen. Like, if you could listen to our conversation sometimes, it jumps from like one small good idea to like this massive plan so fast.
Well, Peter, you're not that much better. You have
I know. I'm not saying
I have to rein you guys in. You're just out of control.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Peter and I have so much fun together, because I mean, even though I would say, I don't know, Peter, do you think that you're a little bit more down to earth than me, or what?
I'd say recently, yes. I'd say recently I have been.
Yeah,
for sure. Or like, I don't know, ask me like 8 months ago, probably not, but now I feel probably a little bit more.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that too, and maybe it is just a little bit more on the recent side, but I feel like there's times when I'll be like, you kind of have to play the role of Renee a little bit, like
yeah, you've been doing a good job with that, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm unleashing my inner Renee, you know.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I see people saying they've won the husband lottery. It's so sweet to hear you guys saying nice things about your husbands.
I know, it is. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Aww.
For sure. Yeah, sorry. No, it's not 12 by 16 tonight, guys. I'm sorry. It's a 12 by 16.
It's 12 by 12.
This is a 12 by 12. Yeah. And so if you want, boy, I'm just thinking, oh man, you can stretch it out. Just add a little bit over to one side or the other. Why did I choose this size? Well, I think part of it was that I have a frame this size, and I want to put this in a frame, this one, for this special occasion.
Oh. What size of brush are you using, Jed? The big one you're using?
This is actually the number 16.
Oh, wow.
Big old brush.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the big bad boy. Oh, I don't know why I'm mixing this yellow down here. I should be mixing it up here. See,
Terry says,
go ahead.
Terry says, I won that same husband lottery. So many lottery winners together is awesome. You guys are so sweet. This is great. It's making me happy. Sue Pace says, my husband has been my biggest supporter of my art. That's awesome. Isn't Camino Island in Seattle getting snow this weekend? Yes, this whole area is supposed to get dumped on overnight, and I'm not here for it.
Yeah,
I
well,
know.
today was a nice day. You know what, guys? I was able to go. I stopped by Peter's place today.
Yeah.
Because I was driving past and I wasn't really thinking about it beforehand, so I didn't tell him or anything. But I was just called him all of a sudden. I'm like, "Hey, Peter, are you home? Have you eaten lunch?"
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I came by with a little bit of food, and we had a nice time. That was fun, and had a good little meal. And
Yeah, we did.
then I went and I stopped by and I saw another friend on the way home. So I was like, man, I'm like feeling good about life today.
That's awesome.
Okay, Jean Hudson says, my husband proposed 55 years ago on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Awesome, Jean. She says there's a story. I'm curious about the story, though.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Can you share the story, Jean?
Dennis Redmond, my wife and I will be married 39 years this June. I honestly don't know where the time has gone. I won the wife lotto.
Aww.
That's awesome, Dennis. Happy for you guys. Let's see. Should I share one of the stories that we got submitted to us?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, yeah, guys, we had so many amazing submissions from you guys on, both sides of the spectrum of life, like heartbreaking and also inspiring and heartwarming and, everything in between.
Yeah.
So one of these I want to share. So this guy sent in a picture of his son and his girlfriend. They met out while they were tree planting, and they're both in this photo here that I'm going to show in just a second. But because of COVID, the lady went away to study, and she was unable to, because of COVID, they can't see each other, and they don't know how long it's going to be till they can see each other. But here is a picture of them while they're out tree planting, it looks like.
Fun.
Where's the picture, Peter?
It takes a second to pop up for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Do you see it, Renee?
Aww.
Yeah.
That's cute.
That's them out tree planting. So that's pretty cool.
Aww.
I hope you guys can see each other again soon.
Yeah. Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go through a few right now, Peter?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let me take my jacket off. I'm kind of hot. 1 minute.
Okay. Hey, guys, remember last week when all of a sudden we heard the door shut and we're like, what happened to Peter? And then he came back and he's like, I'm doing the laundry. That was funny. And nothing like multitasking, man. I mean, that guy's talented, bro. I can't do anything. Like, I can hardly chew gum and do stuff at the same time. Peter can do the laundry.
Jed, you can paint and talk like crazy.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's just talking.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put up another picture here and then I'll tell the story so that,
Okay.
So this is, I'll go ahead and read what this guy sent in. He said, this is a picture of my seven.
Sure? Hey, are you sure? You keep saying guy. Are you sure that this is from a guy?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Because on that last one, I wasn't so sure if it was from a guy. I thought I remember reading it from a girl. From a lady.
If it was from a lady, I am so sorry. Well, I went through a lot of submissions, but
yeah.
So they said this is a picture of my 74-year-old brother Bob Stallion, who he had and loved for 18 years. The horse Cooper was named as a play on words of copper, his beautiful color. Cooper was a wonderful horse, very patient and gentle, unusual for a stallion. And my brother would load him up in a trailer and go to a center for handicapped children to get their first ride on a horse.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Cooper got very sick just 2 weeks ago, and my brother couldn't get a vet to come out on the weekend to the back country in Colorado where he lives. My brother was worried all night about him and tried to help him all night, but when he went out to the barn in the morning, Cooper had sadly passed away.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
isn't that sad?
Aww.
yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
that's
when I
yeah.
go for it, Jed.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that, I mean, that's why we wanted to share these.
Yeah.
We were actually talking earlier and we were thinking, like, man, like it feels like the one, we're painting this. I'm painting this for somebody special tonight. But all of you are special, like we wanted to just say, man, if there was a way that we can figure out to do more, more paintings, even to fill in the gaps with some of these ones that we aren't able to do. We're trying to figure out if there's a way that we can do that. But, if whether or not we can, we just want to say everybody who sent something in, and even those of you who didn't, we know that everybody has, their own story. Everybody has, something to share. And we just want to say, the reason we're sharing these is because we value what you bring and what you say and what you're,
and what you've been through,
and what your story is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing them with us and for whatever it's worth,
Absolutely. Yeah. When I saw that picture of the horse, because I read the story and then I saw the picture and it gave me chills. Like, it really hit me. So I had to share that one.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Can you read another one, Peter?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for one that would be good to share right now.
And I'll say something about the painting. You guys probably noticed that I went in and I painted that sky back there before I painted some of the midground and that, and which is a little bit unusual for me. But because there's just so many branches in the tree, it felt like it would be an easier thing to come back over the top with some of the branches and all that than just try to cut out every little part. So
yeah.
As a heads up, thanks for being so responsive, Renee. Man, like
I'm listening.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. I think you've got a real future, Renee, in art.
Yeah, in art.
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Man, you're one of the best listeners around. I tell you, what's funny, guys, is that Renee has been around art so much that she may not be able to paint exactly what she knows, but she knows so much that she can give me really good advice. It's kind of uncanny sometimes because, she's got an eye for art and she's, but it's pretty. I have to say that it was a little bit. It was kind of nice one time when she was being kind of critical of one of my paintings, and I'm like, she kind of was like, well, just do this or something. And then like a few weeks later, this was like a year ago, she made a resolution to paint. And then she was off painting one night. And then she came back and I remember her saying something like, it's just harder than it seems. Like it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what? It is kind of hard, isn't it?
It is hard, yeah.
It's not as easy as it looks.
I don't know. I want to try again, though.
I know.
It's just that I know I don't have a lot of time to do it, so it's almost like it's like if you only ski once a year, like you never get better, or snowboard.
Yeah.
Like I know I can't do it all the time, so it makes me not even want to do it at all.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
Yeah.
maybe someday when all my hair is gray and Willow's in her 20s, and
Yeah.
that'd be fun if I could. Okay, I think I have to go pick her up though.
Okay.
And thanks for having me. And this, I'll come peek in later.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
for being here.
Okay, awesome. Good job, Jed. And goodbye, everyone. Have fun.
All right. Bye, Renee.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
Renee. Well, that was fun to have Renee on here.
That was awesome. So I have another story. I have another story ready.
Okay.
I went through and like changed the names so that so I'm not trying to change them on the fly.
Okay, got it.
Anyway, so yeah, so this is another story that we got, and I changed the names on here, so these aren't real names. But so she says, my husband has supported me in my journey to save my son from his mental illness and addiction, who has been on the streets for years. Phone calls from my son, jails and hospitals in the middle of the night have not stopped my husband's love for him. We traveled to and from these two cities. They're far apart. Even walking through the Tenderloin to grab him and try and get him into rehab. This pandemic has been a curse and a help in getting him help. He had COVID twice, and he's currently in rehab and says he will do this for us. He knows we both stand by him and that he is not lost. This journey has been a long one. My son is 34 years old, and when he is ready, my husband will bring him home. My husband is the best stepdad who could have given up on him, but he fights for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, guys. Do you see what we were trying to make decisions with? I mean, how can you not hear a story like that and say, you know, wow, I mean, yeah, I want to paint a painting for you.
Yeah. I know.
Good job. Good job. I shouldn't have, one thing I know is that the people that we've, been associated with through Acrylic University and, just through what we do here. I mean, man, you guys are so incredible. It's just, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really, really amazing. And I think that's the thing is like one of the things that stood out to me in reading through the submissions was how it was one of the common things was we were talking about people who had stuck with other people, and it can be kind of like there's hurt, there's wounds, there's pain, and there's also, this incredible amount of love and loyalty that came through in so many of these, right? Like, things have not been easy, but this is what has, kind of come out of this. And this is who this person has been for me in the midst of all this hardship, in the midst of all the pain. And, man, it's so encouraging and refreshing to read those stories.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, like at the end of this time, we're going to keep painting and keep telling little stories. How many more stories, Peter, do you think you have? I'm just out of curiosity. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, let me see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and I could grab more. I mean, there's still a few left, so.
Yeah, okay. And I was just mainly just thinking like I wanted to kind of just think through the time so that, I don't know how much time I should talk or how much time we should do stuff like that. But I think that's, if we get through the 4, I mean, you can definitely grab a couple more if you want.
Okay.
But yeah, man. You guys, I'm just reading some of your comments, and it's cool to see also, one of the things that I've appreciated so much about Acrylic University is it's not just camaraderie. That was the first word that came into my mind, but it's more like the friendship, the care and support that people have for each other. And it's gone so far beyond art, at this point. It's like art is the starting point, and it's a common ground, and it's a wonderful thing, but it's gone beyond that to where, you see people really caring for each other and in as much as you can, while maybe not ever having met in real life, caring for each other and trying to share each other's burdens. So pretty awesome.
Yeah, should I go ahead and read another story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds great. So yeah, not all these have pictures with them, but this person said this painting that they requested is for my brother. We lost 2 of the homes on our property this last September to the fires in California. My brother has worked so hard to try and make our property whole again. I so appreciate everything that he's done for me and my sister. My house burnt down and so did my mother's house. It will never be the same, or at least not in our lifetime. We were waiting for signs of life. I captured this picture one morning hiking up to my burned home site. I thought the light was so pretty coming through the trees, even though the trunks were burned. We were all hoping for light at the end of this tragedy.
Wow. Yeah. Another amazing story, sad story of resilience,
Yeah.
story of sacrifice, and somebody working super hard to make it better for another person. And we just say, we're so in awe of everybody.
Yeah.
The other really kind of, I like just hearing that right now. I'm just thinking our daughter is reading, or not reading, but she's listening to these stories that are on audio. They are like, what are they called? They're called the I Survive series, and they're all about disaster in the world. Yeah. And so the one that she was listening to today was the I Survived the California Wildfires.
Oh, wow.
And just thinking about, man, like those, the stories they're fictional because they're not based on real people, but they're based on real events, and they're based on, they're very factual in the, what goes on in the stories is the stuff that really happened. And so, man, those fires, just how devastating, and we're super sorry for your loss, and just mourn with you in that.
Absolutely. Hopefully it will get better.
Yeah.
So another story here. This is a mom of 3 small children, and she's remarkable. She single-handedly has started 3 different charities. One to benefit the elderly during COVID, one to supply an underfunded school district with much needed supplies, and she's finishing up a Valentine's Day gift surprise for children in a children's hospital. She has raised thousands of dollars for these causes just by using social media and motivating our community. She and her husband have taken on receiving all the shipments, wrapping them, and distributing them. I would love to surprise her with something delightful. And she says she is my mentor. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that one was, didn't she say something like, even though I'm like in charge of something that she's in, like really she's my mentor?
Yeah, she said I'm a mentor mom for a group called MOPS, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. But she is my mentor.
Yeah. That's so crazy. Well, that's awesome. Again,
humans are amazing.
I don't know how many of you are able to, like are have been able to come on today in terms of those of you who we've read your stories or anything like that. But I hope that some of you are able to be here and at least kind of get this, you don't have to say, oh yeah, that's me or anything, but at least like hearing your story, you can say, I'm glad to know that it was appreciated.
Yeah, Jane. The story. So the story of the wildfire was from Jane Lufkin, and she said, "Thank you so much for reading my story. You have made my world better."
Well,
yeah, we're glad you could be here for it. Yeah, I wish all you guys strength, and your brother strength and perseverance, and
yeah. Yeah.
We also got a lot of sweet ones from people who, were just talking about their spouses or their partners, and they're talking about how long they've been together. and that they want to surprise them with something sweet. So that was also really touching to see a lot of people.
Oh, there's so many.
I know. Like John has been my husband, my love, my very best friend for 47 plus years.
Oh man, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I know there's so many. I feel there's, yeah, just incredible. Yeah, one I read was about somebody who had lost both parents in a very short amount, like within a year, and was just like, sharing that they were consoled by their friend who just said, it's okay, we're gonna be together, we're gonna be okay, and just held them in their arms, kind of to when they're just weeping and crying, over the loss of the parents. And again, just another picture of love and loyalty, and I feel like it's it's what we all really are longing for in life, is to be loved and known, and to have people that can be with us. And so it's yeah, just good job. We're thankful that there are people out there doing that.
Doug Curry said, "You made my wife's brother's world better by putting on his horse. Thank you so much." You're so welcome, Doug. I'm glad you guys could be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to share one of those this one has a little bit of highs and lows, one of those feel good love stories.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get a picture. I'm gonna get the picture though. It does have a picture with it. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. So all right, so here is the picture. And the story that was sent in by it says, this picture is right where my fiance proposed to me back in September 2020. He knows how much I love painting, and that's exactly how he proposed to me. He took me out to paint, and I got to paint my own scenery as he did his in another direction. So I couldn't see what he was painting. But when I saw it, he wrote, "Heather, will you marry me?" It was the most magical and thoughtful thing I could ever imagine. And right now we are going through something that I never thought I would be going through with my future husband.
I think he means the coronavirus and all the, the weird things that are going on.
And then she says, "We're so much in love, and he's my best friend. I would love to have more art pieces to hang up in our home. He loves my art. Thank you so much," is what she said.
Super awesome.
Yeah, that's a cool scene. But yeah, a lot of stories like that from you guys. They're just really fun to read. Lisa C, I love hearing these stories. I'm glad. Yeah, I love reading them. They're fun. I love hearing about people's stories. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And we all have a story. We all have something shapes us. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I will do that. Let me go grab another one here. So this one says, Allison is a dear friend of mine who lost her husband last summer. I know Valentine's Day will be a hard one this time around. She has recently decided to follow her true passion and become a regenerative farmer. She grows beautiful edible flowers on a small lot of land that she also lives on using earth-friendly farming practices.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we wish comfort to you, Allison, and I would love to hear more about your edible flowers and stuff like that. I've never heard of regenerative farming before, but it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I never heard of that either, actually.
Um,
And we're
let's
sorry
see.
for your loss, you know, like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just know that it's to lose anybody, you know, is devastating. To lose your spouse, you know, I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine being a parent, you know, and you know the weight of being a parent and the responsibility, and then knowing that you have this heartache and grief that you carry with you every day, even when the world just, you know, it probably seems like the world just keeps going on and your life has come smashing, you know, crashing to a
Mm-hmm.
halt, and you know, just can't really imagine the grief that you're going through, but just want you to know that we feel with you your loss
Yeah.
and sadness, and we're sorry, and we wish you the very best. And like
Yeah.
I said, we might be able to figure out a way that we can, you know, do some more art, or like
Mm-hmm.
another thought I had was maybe we could offer this painting as a print or something like that, that we could, you know, figure out a way to get this to
Mm-hmm.
people. And I'm not sure what we'll be able to do, but
Yeah.
we just want you to know that we care.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, like Jed mentioned earlier, we thought about, or we talked briefly about, you know, doing more of these paintings from these submissions we got on Friday Night Lives in the future. We're not totally sure on that, but something we're considering, because they were just so many you know, ones that you just make you want to go like, oh, I would love to paint that, you know.
Yeah.
Grieving Dr. Smith says grieving people really need and benefit from a heart with ears, just lovingly listening to their story. They aren't broken and we can't fix them, but we can support them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just come alongside them and listen to whatever they have to say. And
Yeah.
guys have a problem with that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we want to fix things.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Go ahead, Jed. You can.
Oh, I didn't really have anything.
Okay.
Just thinking. I'll talk for a minute about the painting. I'm just kind of working my way around, and I spent quite a bit of time up here, and I'm going to come back up there. But right now, I'm trying to work that down here a little bit more, and I'm going to come in with more negative painting, and then I'm going to work on a gradation up in the sky. But I want to be down here for a little while, looking at the just kind of these subtle things that are down on the bottom. They're the shadow areas, the rocks in shadow and stuff like that. And it's also important.
Julie says, love the colors of this painting. Lisa says, amazing light on the trees and rocks, Jed.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that I just want to say about, you know, the crazy thing about loss like that is it's crazy how we kind of go about our day-to-day lives and we don't expect something like that to happen. But when we do, it's just like this crazy feeling of, kind of feels like death, you know?
Death to ourselves, you mean? When you're what do you mean exactly?
Well, like, you know, obviously if you have a loved one pass, but I was thinking about Jane, and she was talking about you know, how her property's burned down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And just when something that you put so much like energy and thought and care into and it just vanishes, it's like part of you is just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And a person passing is definitely that at the, like
For sure.
extreme.
Patricia says, this session has been very therapeutic with all the stories. I lost my younger brother in October 2019 to cancer. He was my best friend and he liked watching me paint. Sorry to hear that, Patricia.
Yeah.
Yeah, really sorry.
I feel like, there's a time when there just aren't words, it's like, what I would love to do, is if we were all together, or something like that, would be just to be able to like sit with people, because there is a time when, just to be with somebody, they don't have to have the answers. They don't have to, say anything even, just to be there, to sit, to be quiet, and, to allow the process of grief. Because sometimes in our busy world, I feel like that's actually one of the things that gets lost is the opportunity to grieve. And it's interesting that in some older traditional cultures, grieving is like a part of the culture. It's not just something that we try to stuff down or, we try to ignore, but it's actually something that we, other cultures have learned to embrace a lot more than we do. And, but I think that sometimes when we do that, when we try to just ignore hard things or just, move on, let's just move on. Let's not grieve that or process that really. Let's just move on. I think that can actually kind of short circuit the process, and there's something healthy for us to grieve and to mourn. But I think that, one of the things that I, have heard is that, in other cultures, some of that is, it's not just an isolated thing. A lot of times you're surrounded by people and they're just wailing and mourning with you. And so you're not just lost in your own grief by yourself. You're actually surrounded with people who are grieving. And, so anyways, we are grieving with you when we hear these stories. Just like we celebrate with you when, there's the great stories. So.
Lisa Raymer says, I too am grieving. I lost my mom on December 28th. I signed up for your mini painting challenge as a way to process the grief and to give me a positive focus. The warm light beckons, she says. That's amazing.
Thank you for being here, Lisa. And I remember actually seeing you said that somewhere. I read that either in the community or in a message somewhere.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah. And we're honored to have you here, and we hope that, the creative process can be helpful and healing and even life-giving and joyful for you in this time of loss.
Creating art is therapeutic for so many. It really is.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something. It's fun. It's actually really interesting. About a year ago, I started reading a little bit about that because I was trying to learn a little bit more about art therapy. I've heard the term, that kind of thing. But I didn't really understand, was art, was this just an idea, or was there actually health benefits to art, and that whole kind of thing. And, it is pretty amazing. I mean, there are actually, proven, verifiable kind of benefits to art. And not just that you feel a little bit better, but actually things like, people who are creative actually live longer. Like things that you wouldn't necessarily think, but I think it's all part of, they kind of go together. It's like, you are creating something, you're occupying your mind. It's a stress relief, and at the same time, you're doing something positive. A lot of times you're connecting with other people. There's all these different benefits, and then those things are, because we all, I mean, you probably know, but our mentality, like what we think about and our attitudes affect so much. Like you can go through something and somebody else can go through the exact same thing. Two people can go through the exact same experience and come out totally different on the other side. One of them can be, positive, look at it like, come out with a hope, and the other person can come out not wanting to live. And a lot of, like, the biggest part of that just has to do with, your mentality and how you were able to deal with that hardship, and the hope that you had in the hardship. And so anyways, that's one of the reasons that we care about what we do and believe in it so much, is because we see, I mean, I see it in my own life, and we've heard these kinds of stories, and we've read articles, and we believe that it is good. So I'm really, really, really thankful, Lisa, that you're here, that other people are here, that there's maybe just the smallest little help. Like maybe it doesn't hardly do anything, but if it does anything, like, we're super, super thankful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, keep going, because I'm looking at the time, and I'm thinking, I'm getting excited to, kind of, I mean, I've got more to do here, but
but you're getting there.
I want to get to share a little bit about the winner, and I don't want to miss anybody if we have other stories.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, this is the one that you were talking about, that I wrote down. They said, when my parents died in 2019, within 50 days of each other, he just held me as I cried, was ever present, and told me that we would get through this together. I'm thankful for his unending commitment to me and our family.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, just, it's like that mix, like you were saying earlier, it's a mix of joy and sorrow, just kind of coming together.
Mm-hmm. And I know, and I think, I feel like we, like us as people, just go through so much more than we let on, like most of the times. And like reading these kind of made me realize, like, we're all more human than we think we are at times. Like, I think of other people out there, we kind of think of them without the context of their lives, but we're all have very human experiences, good and bad.
Yeah, there's a commonality, right? I mean, and I think that's, there was an old church saint who said something like, I think his name was Saint Ignatius, and he said something like, be kind. Everyone is fighting a great battle.
Mm-hmm.
And you just think about that. Like every person that you see, whether you agree with them or not, whether they're, on the other side of the world, or they're your next door neighbor, or they're, across the train tracks, like whoever it is, they're fighting a great battle. Like their life is not as easy as you and I think, like, because we always think that, right? We always are like, oh, they're, they don't have any problem at all. Like, we kind of recognize a bit of our own, hardships, but it's like, man, that just changes, right? Like, because all of a sudden, when you read these things and the stories, and, like, because before this, did we know that Jane had lost her family home and her, her mom's home? Like, no, we didn't know that. And then all of a sudden we know that. And so it's like our perspective on Jane has grown and changed a little bit. Like I would have, if we were talking one time and somehow we talked about home, and I might be more sensitive about how I talk about it, right? I might think about the words that I use, or I might understand a little bit more if I saw tears in her eyes, or anything like that, or maybe she got upset at something, that had to do with something like that. And all of a sudden I'm gonna have more understanding. I'm gonna say, yeah, I get it. That makes sense, because I see like what she's been through, and that's probably how I would feel if I just lost my family home too. And so it's really good to hear other people's stories, isn't it?
It is. And Jed and I were talking about this recently, and we were talking about how, like, with the internet, it's so easy to see like the bad in other people, because it's what we're prone to attach to, and it's what people highlight on the internet, like but if we got to know those people like on a personal level, we'd be much more I feel like we'd be a lot more connected than we are.
Well, it's always funny because Renee knows this. It's like typical of me, but like every day, like if I go meet somebody and I, like I'm just trying to think, the other day I had an interview with somebody, and it was like a podcast or something. There might have been another thing that happened like that recently too, where I came back and she said, "Oh, how'd it go?" or something, and like I almost always say this, "Oh yeah, it was good," and I'm like, and then I think about it for a minute. I'm like, you know what? I really like them. like almost every time, like that's like the exact words that come out of my mouth. Like, you know what? I really like them. And it's just because I get to know them. It's not, it's like, it's not that I didn't like them before. It's just that I didn't know them, and I didn't have the chance to really, appreciate them, or anything. So it's totally that way. We just, we hear these things, like I really agree with what you're saying, because we make judgments so fast.
Yeah.
And we, are quick to categorize people and all sorts of stuff that actually takes away people's humanity. Whether that's, there's so many different ways that happens. And it's just like, that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to take away somebody's humanity. They have value and worth just because they're human. They're valuable. Do you have any more stories out there?
I can look for more. I haven't, not ones that I've written down though.
Okay. That's okay. You don't have to. Don't worry about it. We can kind of keep going. So I want to just take a minute and say, like I said before, when we read through the stories. I mean, there were several times. I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram or anything like that, but you may have seen, I forgot that I said this until I saw a friend today, and she's like, oh yeah, she said something about, she saw that I had said it was making me cry. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I did say that on Instagram. But when I was going through these submissions, first day, the first night, I start going through them, and I'm like no joke, tears are coming into my eyes, and I'm just thinking, wow, I just wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting to be, kind of caught off guard, and I felt like, how am I going to choose? Because there's so many beautiful stories and beautiful people, that are totally worthy of getting a picture painted for them, and so I just was trying to figure out, like, I honestly don't know how I'm going to pick or anything like that. And then yesterday I kept reading through, and I came across the story of the person that I picked. And immediately when I read the story, my heart was moved, and I was I just thought, I think that this is the one. I think that this is the one that I want to do. And it wasn't there wasn't, I don't know. I mean, I could have chosen a number. Like I said, everybody deserves it. But this painting is going to a very precious woman named Marla. And Marla, her friend, wrote in on her behalf and said, would you consider Marla? And she just told me a little bit of Marla's story and why she thought that I should paint for her, because that was what I had asked. Why should I paint for whoever it is that you're writing about? And so I'll just share a little bit about Marla's story, and I'm not going to go into tons of detail or anything like that, but it's another story of loss and hope intertwined, and that was why I chose this, was because I wanted to really say to Marla, I want you to have the knowledge of the sun coming up and shining on you. And I'll tell a little bit about the story of this morning, because this was not an image that I was given. It was an image that I chose, just because, I wasn't given an image, but I was just thinking about, okay, what would be symbolic, and what would I want to paint? And so Marla was, a girl. When she was a girl, suffered abuse at the hands of people that, you would not ever want to, think, oh, my family would, be hurtful to me. And yet that's what happened in her life. She suffered abuse and was, had to move away. And then other things happened to her where she was kind of taken advantage of, and hard things that just what we were talking about earlier, where, it's like, what? This is the kind of thing that there's no reason for this to exist in our world. There's no reason. And so her friend was just saying that because of some of the trauma that's happened in Marla's life, she was, she'd been working at had a good job and was working, but some of the things that had happened in work kind of triggered some PTSD, and basically made it so that she was unable to carry on in her job at this point and is taking I'm not sure if it's a leave of absence or what it is, a medical leave for sure. I can't remember all the details, but right now, as far as I know, the two friends are together as Marla's gone over to her friend's house to watch tonight, which I'm super excited about. And I just, I wanted to say, Marla, too, I wanted to give you, I just felt like I wanted to say something, mainly just to you. If there's anybody else who's suffered trauma, I would say you can stay, if anybody wants to stay, whatever. But I'm not going to say it all right now. I'm just going to leave that till the end, and I'm just going to we'll kind of close the night, and then I'd love to just, if you're willing to stay for a couple minutes afterwards, I'm just going to say a couple extra thoughts that I, just thought I just wanted to leave you with. And again, but this, I hope that this painting, is one that you can look at, for forever, for the rest of your life, and know that there's hope, that the sun rises in the morning and it shines a new chance, a new opportunity, a new day, and really brings you joy in each morning. So that's all I guess I'm going to say right now about it. But again, like I said, I'm going to say a few words kind of towards the end of the night, if that's okay with you and you stick with me. I won't know if you're there or not, but I'll just say it anyways. And like I said, anybody who wants to stay is welcome to stay, but giving you fair warning, I'm just going to be sharing from my heart. And it's not art related or anything like that. So, if you just are here for the art and you don't want to stay, you can, say good night when we kind of close out the normal part of the evening. So anyway, but congratulations to Marla and her friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrea is who recommended her. And so hi to both of you. So glad that you're able to join us and even be watching this together, which is really fun. So
for sure.
Awesome. And I'd also say, so we, because we had so many awesome people turn in stuff and suggest other people for the painting, we've been racking our brains like, okay, what can we do? You've heard us talk about, like, could we do more of these? What other options do we have? When would we do them? Would we, because we have a few open Fridays, so we're thinking through, what could we do there? But we also are thinking through the idea of, like, could I make a print of this? Could we offer that? And I just have to say, we don't really know what we're going to be able to do as of yet, because we didn't have enough time to figure everything out. But we're looking at it. And if you did submit something, we have your email address, we have your phone number. And if we come up with a good idea, we'll definitely let you know, so that you can, decide whether decide. I guess if it's a print, if you feel like you want one, you would have to go in and, if we do it, we're definitely not going to charge you like anything. Like, we're not going to make any money on it. We have to figure out if we can cover the cost ourselves. We have to figure out, like, exactly how that would go. But you'd have to actually go on and order it yourself so that it gets shipped to you. And that way,
Jed,
yeah.
Andrea says we are here, so they are watching.
Okay, awesome. So awesome. Mm-hmm. So glad you're here. Now, I do want to just, for a quick minute, I've got 2 more special guests in here with me. So I'm going to take just a second here. Oh boy, look
Oh,
at that.
Silver's a
There's
full-on
Willow
tiger.
and Silver. So
Silver, look this way.
Silver, you're starting to get too antsy. Silver's the rascal. He's always thank you for coming in, Willow. And Willow, I want to say to you, since you're my other Valentine, that I love you. I'm so proud of you. I appreciate you. You're like sunshine in my life. You make
Did you
me.
put that thing on the bed?
I did.
What's it for?
It's for you.
I know, but what do you do with it?
It's actually from Lydia. She gave it to you. I don't know. It's just to have fun with.
I like it.
Good, good. So a friend of ours gave Willow a little present. It's one of those, what do you call them? They're like those little, it's like you see pillows or backpacks and they have those little metal things that flip. What are those called? They like, you flip them one way. They're like those little scales and they look one color one way and then they switch the other color when they go the other direction. I don't know if I'm making sense, but somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. So here's the deal, guys. I may or may not be able to finish this painting in the next few minutes, but I will finish it before we send it off for sure. And I'm going to grab a different color here just for a second. So I'm going to pull a little bit of quinacridone magenta. I'm going to put it right here because I just want to get this painting has a little bit of violet in it that I want, or the reference photo I think has an area that leans a little bit more violet than the cadmium red can make. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on my palette and into my mix. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit just briefly before we're I want to just tell you kind of about where this scene is from, and then I'll wrap it up. So this is actually from Scottsdale, Arizona. If you've been there, you may know about Camelback Mountain. And when I was there a couple years ago, Peter came down, and because I was at a workshop, and I ended up taking a day off the workshop so we could go to the Grand Canyon, which was super fun. But the other thing that we did was, I think the morning before we left town, we hiked up Camelback Mountain, which means if you want to do it, they say that it's a good time to do it in the early morning so you can see the sunrise. So we hiked up in the early morning before there was really any light, and we had our little headlamps on, and we followed this path up to the top. You couldn't really see very much, just a few scatter lights down below. And when we got to the top, there were already a few people up there, and it was really kind of cool, warm. I mean, it was actually kind of chilly, but the sun was starting to come up, and it was a decent hike up there, so we weren't cold. I don't remember being cold at all, but we sat up there, and you had this perfect view of the sun as it came up over the horizon. And that is what this is right here. Just this beautiful, pristine, clear day where the sun is coming up. And Peter and I were up there. He was flying his drone around a little bit.
Yes, we were. I still got the drone footage and stuff.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I don't delete footage ever.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You did. Remember, I put it in that one ad for Acrylic University once.
Oh, yes, I did see some of that. Yeah. That's right. It's like a quick cut ad or something. Oh yeah, I remember it now. I'm kind of It's coming back to me. So this is a good little hike. If you go to Scottsdale, make sure you hike up Camelback Mountain. It's definitely worth it. If you can, in the early morning, it's especially nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. We got up so early for that.
That was kind of painful, to be honest, but it was worth it.
It was. That's the best way to describe that. We went to bed at like 1 and got up at like 3:40 or something.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
It was like the kind of morning that if honestly, it's the kind of morning that if Peter wasn't there, there's no way I'm doing that hike. It's like you have to have the other person there to motivate you.
I know.
Sure. Okay, guys. So here we go. If you are joining us, this is your first time, we're so glad that you're here. If you're a regular, hey, thanks for joining us again. And I just want to mention, if you're not part of Acrylic University, if you haven't been part of the Miniature Challenge, we have our second round of that coming in a couple days. So sign up, grab a friend, bring them in. It's going to be super fun. And I think Peter showed you, but I'll show you here. I've got actually a few of the. This is always weird. I always feel like when I look at the camera, it's always like backwards. So I like lift one arm, and it's actually supposed to be the other arm.
Oh yeah. It's
so fun. But anyways, we'd love to have you be part of that. And we also have the live class tomorrow. I think there might be a link somewhere. It's called Camelback Mountain because it looks like a camel lying down. Yeah, it was a little bit of it was a good hike, and there was a little part I remember it felt a little bit kind of like, hey, you don't want to fall off this way, you don't want to fall off that way. Make sure you keep going straight. We love you. We believe in you. We're so glad that you're here. Have a really good night. Marla, Andrea, I'm going to be here in just a minute. I'm going to share my special message for you. So, Marla, this is me talking just from my heart. And when I read your message or read some of your story, from Andrea, I felt like, so I don't know where you come from. I don't know where you're at spiritually. I don't know if you have spiritual thoughts or not. I am a Christian. I believe in a God who loves us. I believe that he sent his son Jesus to be our healing, to be our redemption. And when I hear your story, it breaks my heart, and it makes me think of my daughter Willow, and I think of how precious she is to me, and it makes me sad that in this world there is such pain and heartache that you would go through things from people that you were supposed to be able to trust, from people that were supposed to be there to protect you, and somehow I don't know how things happen. I don't know exactly what's happened in your story, but I just want you to know that I believe that there is a God who loves you incredibly and who wants to come and wrap his arms around you and say, I understand, I am with you, and who wants to bring deep healing and redemption and joy and hope and light. And this is just a little painting. I don't have anything big to offer you. I can't really do anything except just point to the one that I have found who has healed my heart, who has come to me in the places where, through my own addiction and my own darkness. The reason I start on a black canvas like I did tonight is because one of the big reasons is because I feel like my life was dark. My life was stuck. I was struggling, and there was no hope. There was no light. There was no color. And, in that moment, I felt like God came and he started rebuilding. He started bringing light. He started bringing color. He started bringing beauty. And it's like, I think he looks at our lives and he doesn't see just the dark. He doesn't just see, oh, it's hopeless. He sees the beautiful thing that he's going to make. He sees the person that he created you to be. And he says, oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so precious. Oh, I can't wait to create this beautiful, beautiful artwork with her life, with her story. I'm gonna weave it in. I'm gonna do something that you can't even begin to understand. And I remember hearing a story from a book that I read recently from a woman named Corrie ten Boom. And she was a woman who had gone through the Holocaust, and she'd seen her dad die. She didn't see him die, but she'd seen her sister die, and her dad had been taken away and died in the camp also. And she had later in life, she went around and she would tell people she had a message of hope. She went back to Germany and she just kept saying there is forgiveness. There is forgiveness and there is hope and there is rebuilding and there's all this stuff in God. And she had this one rug that she would carry around, and she would hold it up to people and she'd say, does this look like it much? And it would be like, the underside of a carpet, the underside of a rug. It's just like all these threads that are hanging out and they don't make any sense at all. And it's just like this kind of ugly, frayed mess. And then she'd flip it over and it would be this incredibly beautiful tapestry, this design, so intricately woven. And she said, this is like what it's like for us. We can't see the other side of the story. But it's on that other side where we actually see the handiwork of what God was doing. So anyways, I hope that you feel love from us for whatever it's worth. I just want you to know that you're loved. I'm glad that you were able to be there with Andrea tonight, and I hope that it was meaningful, and I hope that you like this picture and that you'll be able to put it in your house, and it will remind you that you're loved, you're valued, and we're just so glad that you were able to be with us tonight. So thank you so much. For me and Peter, we're going to say adios, but have a really good rest of the night. Thanks.
Good night, guys. Love you all. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you
We
next
love you.